All right, guys, welcome back. Chief Kirk for Kravology. So today we're talking about a very common problem. You might have this problem. I'm going to talk about straight stab with a right-handed attacker, defending and redirecting with our left side versus our right side. If you don't know the difference and you don't know the critical issues in developing your defense and addressing that attack, the results can be catastrophic. So here we go. Specific issue today. I'm going to address the danger with my left hand, then I'm going to address the danger with my right hand, but I want to point some things out to you in between. They're vastly different, and what you do to defend is at least substantially different. So much so that if you're not doing this, you could really end up getting hurt. So let's talk about it. I'm in this position. I've made sort of this hidden fighting stance, if you know how to do that. Hands are up. You're framing your target. The knife comes in. When the knife comes in, you touch, turn, chop. That's our protocol. I'm going to go to touch, turn. I'm going to point something out to you about the turn, and then we're going to switch. So I'm in this position. Here comes James. I make this motion. Come back to me. Boom. Here we go. And I've made my turn. So what I've done is I've gone from the touch element, which is some redirection, but it's not quite off my shoulder, to turn, where I take my elbow and hand, I go on the other side of my thumb. Here's the issue. I go 90 degrees to where the arm has arrived. So this way, not this way. And what that does allows me to keep contact and maintain pressure on the arm. If I actually come back to where 90 degrees was when I started, I would start to slip down the arm. Okay? So understand how to apply that 90-degree principle in Krav Maga. So that's what I want to show you for now. If I change and my right hand comes forward, I'm in this position, and I make this defense come right to me, boom, here, there's a lot of things that are happening. The first thing that's happening is, stay here please, my touch is much different. I'm not trying to make a redirecting touch because the angle of his attack with the elbow, the way it works on this side, could be coming in around my touch. In other words, it could be coming this way. When I redirect it, it's still sliding in. So I'm touching for orientation only, so I don't get a windshield wiper defense where I miss early or miss late. Once I touch, I'm turning hard. I'm turning hard, not 90 degrees as we discussed on the other side, which would be this way or this way, but actually through and back to this direction, so I can actually see my palm clearly. So the issue in understanding the subtle differences that make a big, come on back, the big result for you is this. I'm looking at the danger. How do I understand danger? Here comes the knife. I know at the end of the knife stab, the knife begins to go from my left to my right. If there's any extension at all, the knife will do this. Okay? My defense, my redirection, the addressing of the danger, follows the knife. In other words, as I make this motion, my redirection and the natural plane of the knife at extension are congruent. The other thing to note is this. As I get to this point and I step in, I make my turn, or I go in to make my counterattack, the elbow cannot bend back at me this way. So the wall sits where the elbow cannot back me. It has to retract, in other words, or drop. Okay? So I'm noting two things: the angle of attack and where the plane of the attack goes at the end of the extension, and what's happening with the attacking limb and what its capacity is based on how the human body is built. Number two, I'm in this position. I have to make contact with the knife, and I have to turn the knife out, but because the elbow bends at this side, I can't get too deep because he can come back and get me, right? So elbow's now the opposite issue on this side. I'm also not turning this way for the same reason. I want to drive the hand away from me and stay away from the bend of the elbow, so I turn this way. I'll go get the bicep in this case, or pull it through with my hand. But what I want you to understand when we're talking about defenses and you're looking at even something as simple as changing your defending side, the physiology of the attacker and the way that the defense is made is dependent upon how the attacker presents the threat and what his body capacity is based on which side you're dealing with, right? So obviously we prefer left, so I get to this position, I'm on the dead side, I can collapse and punch. Now I'm on the live side on the other side. I'm in this position, I'm on the live side, this is an issue. And the angle that the attack comes in on, the elbow and its capacity to bend around my defense, are two tremendous issues that you have to understand. So when you're thinking about addressing the danger, think about these things. It will help you, not only in class, but it might just save you from a really poor outcome in the street. Guys, to quickly summarize, when you're dealing with attacks where your left side or your right side are forward, some of the things to consider are, what does the angle of attack look like as it develops, and is your defense congruent with that, or is it an opposing angle? it makes a big difference on how you deal with that attack. There are common elements that you can look at specifically when you're talking about the addressing of the danger. Once we address the danger, which typically is pretty prescriptive in Krav Maga, we can move down into more of suggestive type elements. But the prescriptive stuff has to be powerful, has to be well thought out, and it can save your life. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget to scroll down, subscribe, or leave us a note. And as always, walk in peace.